Good morning, folks. I'm Miss Klein. I'm your instructor for this Survey of Humanities online class this summer. And I wanted to just give you some basic information, how to get started, how the class is going to work, all that kind of good stuff. And then after you watch this, you can go in, look at the syllabus, the schedule, look at all the tabs, all the stuff. I'm still adding in some things, I've got to make assignments available and do things like that. But the basics are there. So I don't know how many of you have taken an online class before, but it is a whole different animal than taking a seated course. If you've done one before, then you know you really have to be very proactive. You have to stay on top of things. You got to log in several times a week. You got to really be responsible for keeping up with the schedule and what's going on, because you won't see me other than like this to say this is due, make sure you're working on this, you should be doing this, etc., etc. You won't have that face-to-face interaction. So you got to make sure you're really staying on top of things. There's a schedule that already lists everything, every chapter we're covering, and when papers are due and things like that, when quizzes are and what chapters they're covering. And I will post a weekly announcement every week that will tell you here's exactly what you need to do this week and when. Okay, um, but it takes some effort to stay on track. Add to that, because this is a summer course, we have to do the same amount of material in that we do in 16 weeks in 10. So it's really gonna move really fast. Most weeks when I do this class online, it's only one chapter a week, and there's a week or two where you don't have anything, but this time we're going to have to really move. So you will have, this week is one chapter, the next to the last week is one chapter, and then all the other weeks you'll have two, because there's just so much to cover. If you look at the book, which hopefully you've gotten the book, it's The Art of Being Human, 10th edition. It's got to be the 10th edition, because the questions and the chapters and stuff are different in the different editions. So you got to make sure it's that 10th edition. The first three chapters are kind of intro, background, kind of setting up the whole thing. We're going to learn about the type of critique we're going to do in here, which is an Apollonian Dionysian critique, which I promise you I will explain it. And then chapters 4 through 9 are each on a different art form, starting with literature and moving all the way to cinema. And then chapters 10 through 16 are the different themes that art explores: love, religion, morality, death, happiness, freedom, nature, all of that good stuff. Okay, and we're going to kind of put those two together. So this week and next week we're going to cover the first three sort of introductory chapters. We'll talk about what an Apollonian Dionysian style of critique is. We'll talk about the purposes of art and how that's changed over history. We'll talk about a lot of just sort of introductory stuff. And then starting on the week of June 8th, we're going to have an art chapter and a theme chapter every week. And we'll just go through that way. And you'll see that in the schedule, like which chapter is when. You will have 5 quizzes. I will drop the lowest one. Be aware that I do not drop a quiz grade for the purpose of helping your average. That's not why I do it. If you take all 5 and you just totally bomb one, then yes, that'll be dropped and it'll help your average. The reason I do it, though, is because when you have quizzes online, inevitably somebody's going to forget, or you're going to wait till the last minute and something's going to go wrong and it won't have saved any of your answers. And then this way, it'll just be your dropped grade. Okay, so really it's a free pass for if you forget to take one, or if something goes wrong and it didn't save any of your answers or anything like that. Okay, the quizzes will be open from Wednesday to Sunday in each of the weeks that they're due, and you do have one next week. It'll open on Wednesday morning and close Sunday night at midnight. You have to do it in that window. If you don't, that's your dropped grade. Okay, so just be aware of that. I'll also drop the lowest discussion board grade and the lowest homework grade. For discussion boards, you need to go in and put your answer by Wednesday of that week. It'll be up on Monday morning, first thing. You go and you put your answer in by Wednesday, at the end of the night. Now this week, you can kind of fudge it since we're not starting on Monday, we're starting on Tuesday. And then Thursday through Sunday, you go back in, read what everybody else has posted, and respond to at least 2 of your classmates. Really substantive responses, not just, oh yeah, I agree, or whatever. There's a rubric that will tell you exactly how I grade it and what I'm looking for as far as content, support, timeline, all of responses, all of that kind of stuff. It will lay it out, and that's the rubric I will use to grade each discussion forum. So make sure you look at that as well. And then homework assignments, some of them will be questions that I write out, and you'll find them in the assignments tab, and some of them will be questions out of the back of the book, or the back of the chapter, not the back of the book. And you'll notice if you look in the back of the chapters, it looks like there's 2 sets of questions, one that comes right at the end of the chapter that's like sort of review things, and then there's a second set right at the very end that says, I think it's questions, topics for discussion or something like that. Those are the ones I want you to do, the second set that's right at the very end. So if I say questions 1 through 4 and 8 or whatever, that's where you go and do those questions, okay? You will have 3 papers that are Apollonian Dionysian critiques. Actually, you'll do one as a homework assignment when we do chapter 4. Then you'll do a song critique, a critique of a movie, and I'll go ahead and tell you in case you want to start looking for it. It's a movie called Stranger Than Fiction that stars Will Ferrell, Queen Latifah, Emma Thompson, Dustin Hoffman, Maggie Gyllenhaal. The 2 guys from the Sonic commercials are in it together. Who knew? There's another movie called Stranger Than Fiction, so make sure you're getting that one. If you don't like Will Ferrell, it's not a typical Will Ferrell movie. But that's the movie you will have to watch for critique. Excuse me. Sorry about that, folks. I have started off this summer session with a terrible head cold, and it is making my life miserable today. But you will critique that movie. I have it on the schedule to watch the week of the 29th of June, but don't wait that long to try to find it. There is a copy that can be checked out from the library on the Christanna and the Keysville campuses. I think they may even have more than one. I'm perfectly willing. I have a hybrid speech class this summer. I'm perfectly willing to one of those Fridays when I have to go down, which I have a Friday the 12th or a Friday the 26th of June. The 26th would actually be good because that's the week you need to watch it. If you guys want to come to the Christanna campus and I can show the movie that day so that you don't have to go try to find it, I'm more than happy to do that. I just need a little heads up that that you want to do that. So keep that in mind. On June 26th, which is a Friday, I have a morning speech class, and I could either do it in the morning. I don't have to be sitting in there with you. I could just start it in the room next door and you could watch it, or we could do it in the afternoon and I could kind of watch it with you guys and answer questions. Either way, but if you're interested in that, I'll ask again when we get closer. I know you can get it off Netflix. I've seen people watch it on Hulu. Sometimes you can find it on demand if you have that. So just not this week, but in the next couple of weeks, just make sure you figure out how you're going to find that movie, because you will need to watch it in order to write the paper. And if anybody is interested in watching it as a group, just let me know and we can do it on Friday the 26th on the Christanna campus in Alberta. Participation is very, very important. You've got to go in multiple times a week. The school policy is in the first week, if you don't do those discussion boards and stuff the first week, all you do is like log in and look around, but you don't do the discussion boards, you're out. Because they want us to give you something to do the first week to make sure you're in there and participating. If you are not actually doing something, doing work, you are not considered to be participating in the class. Just logging in and looking around is not enough, okay? It's not my policy, school policy. Also, if you don't log in for 2 weeks and do anything for 2 weeks, you're out. So you really have to, and because this class is going to move so fast because of the 10-week nature of it, you really do have to stay on top of things and really be in here as much as possible, okay? When we get to specific assignments, I will do other announcements. If you like the video announcements, I find it easier because it's easier for me to not have to type all of that, and it's easier because a lot of times it's easier for us to understand something that's explained to us verbally than trying to read it. I will put those announcements up periodically. If you guys have interest in having like a Blackboard Collaborate meeting where we all come into the Collaborate chat room and meet together, I'm happy to do that as well. Just whatever you guys need. I am only going to be on the Christiana campus 5 times for my hybrid speech that meets those 5 Fridays. Other than that, I am working from home this summer, and I live an hour and 10 minutes away from campus. So email's really the way to contact me. If you call my office and leave a message, I won't get it till the next Friday that I happen to go there, and by then it's probably way too late. So for our purposes for the summer, please just, any contact you have, email me. There's a questions form in the discussion board. If you've got a question that's like a general thing that you think everybody might want to know the answer to, then by all means put it in that questions form and I can answer it there and other people can see the answer. I think that's the basics of getting started. I really enjoy teaching this class, looking at art and why it's important and how we interact with it and how we analyze it and all of that kind of thing. We're going to do a lot of sharing. I'm going to ask you, if you got can you think of a song that goes with this theme or, whatever. We're going to do a lot of, when I teach this seated version, we call it show and tell, where everybody brings in stuff and explains why they like that particular piece of art or whatever. So the discussion boards are going to be really important. If you have any trouble, you have any questions, I would rather you ask a million questions and do it right than be afraid to bother me and do something wrong. So please, just ask. Just email me. Just put it in the questions form. I am happy to help, but I'm not psychic, and I don't know you need help if you don't tell me. I am a stickler for deadlines. Unless there are very extenuating circumstances, I don't take things late. That's why I drop a quiz, a homework, and a discussion. In case you miss one, then it's not going to destroy your grade. But I don't take things late unless there's some sort of really serious documentable reason why you could not complete it, because all the deadlines for the papers and quizzes and everything are already there. When you have homework assignments, which most weeks you will, they will be due Thursday night at midnight. Discussion boards, I told you, is the Wednesday and then the end of the week kind of timeline. All of this is in the syllabus. So now that you've finished listening to me ramble and sneeze and cough and whatever else, now go into the course, read the syllabus really carefully, look at the schedule, the assignments. I'm going to be adding more things into that assignments thing as we go along. Just look through everything, look at the discussion board, and then go ahead and get started on the discussion boards. There are 2 for this week. Because of the nature of how fast we're moving, there probably will be 2 most weeks. I kind of have to pick and choose, and some that I really like I sort of have to eliminate because we just can't, I can't make you do 3 or 4 a week. That's crazy. But 2 will probably be the norm just because we have so much material to cover. If you don't have the book yet, you can do the discussion forms for this week without the book. Maybe even next week, I think. You could probably do them without the book. But after that, you will have to have it. And you do need to get it because you got a quiz next week and you're going to need to have read those chapters. So if you don't have your book yet, I've seen a lot of people get it off Amazon a lot cheaper than the bookstore. But I know a lot of people get financial aid and you have to get them there, which is fine, but it's The Art of Being Human by Gennaro and Altschuler, 10th edition. That is crucial, 10th edition. But I think that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. Looking forward to working with you guys this summer. and hope you have a great week.